Good morning, Susie. Good morning. Good morning to Emma as well. Yeah, that was Emma's puppy, Ranger. He's adorable, isn't he? Oh my gosh, he's so cute. I told Emma that Ranger looks like Toto from The Wizard of Oz. I mean, look at some pictures online of Toto, the dog that was in The Wizard of Oz, and they look like they could be brother and sister. Apparently, Toto in the movie Wizard of Oz with Judy Garland was a female. Ranger is obviously a male. So yeah, maybe they're brother and sister. Who knows? Somehow related. Somehow related to each other. So today is going to be as the modern team is kind of taking over the live stream, live chat in that. I'm going to tell you that this is a little bit of an unconventional live stream. Normally, a live stream is going to be based on an unboxing, which I'll be doing some of soon, or it will be presenting a that has gone through the workshop magic and it's gotten repaired, restored, or in some other way brought back to greatness. Today, I'm kind of right in the middle of those stages, and I've had a couple of weeks where I haven't done consistent live streams because I've been in flux doing things in the workshop, but also doing some personal things as well. And some of my inner circle people know what I'm talking about as far as the personal things I've been working on. But on the workbench right now that we can see here, I'm nearing the finish line finally. After getting all of the parts that I needed, I'm nearing the finish line on this really cool, and I'll turn it more towards the camera so you can see it. Nearing the finish line finally on this really cool New England Queen rotary machine. And obviously you can tell by the appearance of it, it didn't look like this when it arrived at the workshop. It looked very, very rough. And I presented some of those pictures on Facebook to show you how rough it was. And this is a machine that's going to be heading towards the great state of Georgia, and specifically to Hartwell, Georgia, Hartwell. And Ms. Ann Bender has been a very patient soul as I've been going around the world looking for the parts that this machine needed. I finally have everything I need to make the machine functional. I've already done the paint work on it. I've already done some of the decal restoration, although that was very minimal. I didn't do a lot of the decals because we agreed that we wanted to have the machine have an appearance of having been used, which it has been. And then obviously to seal the deal and to seal that paint and those decals, I put on about 10 layers of clear coat. That's why it's got such a beautiful natural to it as you're looking at the machine. And this is one of the areas that I'm known for around the world, is taking machines that are they're rough looking. They look incomplete. They look like they're unfinished, and giving them a museum quality or near museum quality appearance, like this New England Queen Rotary. And this Queen Rotary would have been made by the National Sewing Machine Company. And if anyone that's in the live stream right now wants to Google National Sewing Machine Company and put some facts, put some details, historical details about that company into the chat, that would be totally cool. I've researched them before, but it's been a while. And because I'm not at a point where I'm actually going to present this machine today, other than presenting it by way of showing you where I'm at in the process, I'll just say that if someone wants to throw that out there, that would be great. I might even source, so I don't have to research it again myself. But a machine like this together, you've got to really keep track of all the parts. These rotary style machines have a lot more parts when it comes to the function of the machine than an average rotary type machine, and certainly more than, say, an oscillating hook system type machine as well. So I really try to use my magnetic trays, keep a close handle on where things are at, and make sure I don't, as my father would say, end up at the end of the project with extra parts. That's never a good thing. It's only happened to me a couple of times, and I can always circle back and say, oh yeah, that's right, I've got to put this extra washer on, or I've got to do something else with that. But these machines, if you're wanting to take one on yourself, just be extra careful and document as you're tearing the machine down, so when you go to reassemble it, you get it assembled properly. The same thing is true, and I've shown this to you in a recent live stream, the Singer 101, the one that preceded the 201-2. It's got that older style potted motor on the back of it. That is a machine you got to be extra careful with, because it has about 10 washer inserts that go adjacent to the main shaft and the balance wheel. And if you take them out of order, if you align them in the wrong way, the machine will not work. So I think Emma and possibly Susie and a couple of the other leaders have said, because I suggested this a while back, and they said, that's a great idea, I'm going to do that. And I've shared it with others as well. If you're going to tear a machine down, turn on the video function of your camera or some other way of video documenting, and actually catch yourself taking the machine apart. So if you have to rewind it, once you get back to that project again, if you get sidetracked, like I do sometimes, I'm jumping between workbenches, as you'll see today. And you go back to that machine, you're like, oh, geez, I don't remember if it was this washer first or this spacer or what the sequence was. You've got a documentation so you can go back to that, and you can be assured of putting the machine back as it should be. Now, the only problem you run into is if someone had that machine before you and they tore down that same part of the machine and they reassembled it incorrectly, then that documentation might be for naught. It might not be of any value at all. And I believe it was our dear friend Paula Noel. Paula Noel talked about acquiring a machine, tearing the tension down, putting it back exactly the way it was after she cleaned it, and she could not get proper tension balance. She later discovered, she and I talked, and she did some other due diligence. We later discovered that they had actually, the previous owner had taken apart that upper tension, had reassembled it incorrectly. And so sometimes following, the path of someone before you can lead you to success. Sometimes it can lead you to a lot of frustration. So just be aware of that. And like I always say in all of the live streams and all the videos, where am I? I'm almost there. Oh, there I am. Trust but verify. Trust but verify. So don't assume that something is right. Start with the premise that it's probably going to be right if it's working. But if it's not working, then start from square one and blaze your own trail, in a sense. Blaze your own trail so that you know that you're going to get the right outcome. Yeah. I think I just cricked my neck trying to do that. All right. Well, I'm going to look at the live chat real quick and just say some good mornings to folks, and then we're gonna be opening a package that my dear friend Candido. All of you know Candido. Candido comes to the live streams very faithfully, and when I look over at who's in the live chat, Candido might already be there. Candido is from the great state of New York, and Candido decided to send me a special gift. And so I'm going to be opening that up. Now, those of you that know names and you just right away know names, are they gender neutral? Are they male? Are they female? I'm embarrassed to say I don't know with 100% certainty if Candido is male or female. I'm pretty sure it's male. I'm like almost absolutely sure it's male, but I don't want to say he or she and then potentially offend Candido. So I'm just going to say Candido sent me a wonderful gift that we're going to actually open up. I'm going to sit down so I can actually get the camera shot here. Candido sent me a wonderful gift that I'm going to actually open up on this live stream today. And I'm excited to see what it is because apparently it's handmade. And Candido shared with me that these things that they make are specifically for veterans. Candido is a veteran, and Candido will make these items and then give them to other veterans. So that's why I was fortunate enough to be gifted one of these one of a kind, whatever we're going to see it is. And that's why I'm privileged and honored to be in contact with Candido and other veterans as well. I know we have some other veterans potentially and or family members that have family members that were veterans. And so let me grab that package before I forget, and then we'll jump over to the other workbench. I want to show you this very rare unicorn machine that I presented on Facebook, and people got really excited because at the top of my listing on Facebook I put for sale. And this is like in all of the thousands of machines I've touched over the years, 20 plus years, I've never seen one of these machines before. Never seen one. And so it'll be fun to kind of show it to you a little bit closer up. I'll bring it probably over here so I don't have to finagle the camera around a lot. And we'll look at this machine a little bit closer so you can, in your mind, kind of transfer yourself from the still photos that I showed you already to an actual live stream. I'm seeing me present the machine a little bit and showing you the different angles of it and just talking about the lay of the land of the machine because it's a unique layout on the machine as well. So anyway, let me grab Candido's gift. Let me look at the live stream as well real quick and say good morning to folks. And then I'm going to focus just on presenting these briefly. This is not going to be a long live stream today. And once I focus in on what I want to present on the workbench, we'll go ahead and wrap up the live stream. And in the meantime, I'll turn it over to the leadership team, to Susie, to Emma, and any other leaders that are present to take care of all of you as our family. They love taking care of folks and making them feel welcome. And then also kind of just minding the store and watching for any riffraff that might try to pop in on our live stream and disrupt things. If you've been following me regularly, you know what I'm talking about. We've had the porno people and other people like that jump into our live streams and try to disrupt it. And the leaders jump on them real quick and basically delete their comments, block them, throw them in the timeout, do all kinds of other administrative things. So that's why I'm so grateful for the leadership team and all of those that are willing to, give their time and talent to take care of our family and to help me so much. Okay, so let me grab this. I've got to be mindful of privacy, so I'm going to cross out Candido's address real quick. And I'll set that right there so you can kind of see the package, the fun package that Candido sent me. All right, so let me get into good mornings. So I've already said good morning to Susie from Minnesota. Good morning to Emma. Good morning to Joelle. Good morning to Joelle. And Joelle is in the process right now of sending a machine to the workshop that is quite a treasure to the family. As a matter of fact, the whole family has come together under the common goal, contributing towards the project to make this machine project possible. And if Joelle wants to share more details about that treasured machine, I think that'd be really cool. She could kind of share a little bit about the history of the machine, the particulars of the machine, or whatever, and then you'll have a better idea of one of these machines that we'll be unboxing soon. That's going to be coming from out her in her neck of the woods. Good morning to good morning to Sunny as well, another one of my treasured leadership team members. Good morning to Renee. Oh, and Renee is joining us from work. I am so in awe. I am so in awe of folks that are so dedicated to our family, to cow country, that even when they're at work, if they're able to balance things, kind of like Emma does when she's in the hospital as a pharmacist, they can balance things. They even think about being a part of us and joining us when they're at work. And it's not because they're not great workers. They are, but they're just so committed to us and they love us and we love them. So thank you to Renee, and thank you to Emma and others that even from work have stepped alongside and tried to be a part of these live streams. It says so much about their character and their dedication, doesn't it? It says so much. Oh, and good morning to Kevin and Doreen as well from the great state of Iowa. And Kevin and Doreen are really responsible for the other machine that I'm going to be showing you, this BERNINA unicorn. When they traveled out to visit with me many, many moons ago, they drove all the way from Iowa to the workshop. They brought 4 different machines. 2 of them they wanted to have serviced. The other 2 they wanted to present to me as potential machines that I could purchase and restore. Well, one of them was this BERNINA 125. I have never, ever, until Doreen and Kevin brought this machine from Iowa, I have never seen a BERNINA 125 before. I've never touched a BERNINA 125 before. I've never even come close to a BERNINA model 125 before. And the significance of this machine is BERNINA was relatively unknown. They were a little Swiss company, skeleton crew of workers that were putting together machines, slow but sure. And they eventually, right around I should double check my notes. I think it was right around 1945. Right around 1945, they came out with the model 125. And the model 125 was the very first. They argue, and others might disagree with us. So I'm not going to say it's absolutely for sure, but the Swiss have said that the model 125 that came out right around 1945 was the first portable zigzag sewing machine in the world. The very first portable zigzag sewing machine in the world. So the Swiss are saying that, and the Swedish came out just a few years later, around 1947, with their equivalent of a portable zigzag sewing machine. But I got into an interesting discussion with a gentleman from Australia. And those of you that follow things on Facebook, you probably saw that thread of discussion that we had where I was presenting this Model 125 excitedly and talking a little bit about the roots of it and how it really lit the fire for BERNINA to become a household name and to be admired by people around the world, including other manufacturers. And the gentleman from Australia and I had a discussion back and forth about different things. But needless to say, it is a historically relevant machine when you get your mitts on something that really goes all the way back to the wellspring of success of a company like this Model 125. And that came by way of Doreen and Kevin from Iowa when they brought these 4 machines out. And they said, these 2 we'd like you to give a dose of workshop magic to. These two, we really don't need them, and we want to see if you're interested in buying them. Well, I didn't know half of what I know now about the Model 25. I just thought it was a cute 3/4 size knee control machine. And then later, like I say, sometimes a teacher, always a student. Later, I discovered the significance historically of this machine and what it means to this Swiss-based company, Bernina. So I'm really excited to bring it to this workbench. I'll move this one to the side, and then we'll take a closer look at this machine that came by way of Switzerland, by way of Iowa, and ultimately now by way of Oconto, Wisconsin. So it's had quite a pilgrimage, hasn't it? It's had quite a pilgrimage. All right. So I'm going to, let me see if I scroll down, if there's anyone else I need to say good morning to. I want to say good morning to Poppies as well, which is a really cool name. Good morning to Poppies 1215, I think it says. Good morning to Poppies. Good morning to Michelle Smith. Good morning to Michelle Smith as well. And good morning to Gina. Good morning to Gina. Let's see. Good morning to Peoples as well. People 1215. Peoples 1215. Good morning to you as well. Let's see who else. Oh, and good morning to our other Susie. I always say Susie 1, Susie 2. Susie 1 is from Minnesota. She's on my leadership team. And then we have another Susie as well. I believe, unless I totally got it wrong, I believe our other Susie is from another country, but I may be mistaken about that. But welcome to all of you. It's such a privilege and honor to have you as part of our family, and to have you as part of this live stream as well. We really are privileged and honored to have you here, and especially privileged and honored if you give us the opportunity to meet you by stepping into the live chat. So, we're only as good as our people, right? And all of you make us better because you bring your own knowledge. And when you step out into the live chat and we're talking about different things, you can share your nuggets of wisdom. This is not a forum where Scott or the leadership team, they are the savants, and we impart our wisdom to you. We do a little bit of that, but we also learn a lot from all of you as well. So don't be shy to share your knowledge. Don't be shy to give us your nuggets of wisdom. Now we're going to verify them and make sure that what you're sharing is correct, because that's our responsibility in our family. We need to trust but verify. But when you step out and you share your knowledge, it makes us better. And that reinforces what I always say, and that is sometimes a teacher always type the word in the live chat of what I'm saying. Sometimes a teacher, always a what. Always a what. So with that, I'm going to give a quick salute to my leadership team, turn over the live stream to them as far as the live chat and everything. And I'm going to focus on showing you the rest of the stuff I want to show you. And then we're going to wrap this up because I need to get back to work on this machine to get it done so I can get it eventually live streamed and then get it heading back towards Georgia to our friend down in Georgia, Ms. Ann Bender. And Ann Bender is going to use this as a family heirloom. I'll move Candido's package real quick and just show you this machine again. This is going to become a family heirloom. This is going to be a machine that is passed down through the generations to come. What I think what our friend Ann was most concerned about is having something to leave as a legacy to her family. She says, I really don't have anything. I don't have anything that would be considered a treasure that I could pass along to, say, my granddaughters or my grandchildren, and then they could eventually pass it on through other generations. I've got nothing. I've got nothing like that would be considered treasured and valuable. But I have this machine, but it doesn't look like a treasure right now when it arrived at the workshop. And if you looked at any of those Facebook posts, you know exactly what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm saying. It looked really rough. It looked like something that could be on the curb. But now it looks like something that is wow. And this, again, just to give you a little hint on what I did some hand touch up on some of the decals. Other decals I left with a little bit of wear on them so that the machine looked like it had been used, which it has been. But then I went over it with 10 coats of clear coat to return the luster and the beauty of it, to give it that heirloom, to give it that museum, near museum quality finish and appearance. And you end up then with something that's original. So it's really less of a restoration, isn't it? It's less of a restoration and it's more of a preservation. I do both all the time. I would prefer to do preservation any day of the week, because with preservation, I'm preserving as much of that originality, that provenance of the machine as possible. And I'm simply enhancing it. I'm simply enhancing it and giving it a renewed, revitalized rebirth. But I'm not, stripping it all the way down the metal like I have to do with some of the machines, and then putting down new paint, new decals, new clear coat. On this one that belongs to Ann Bender from Georgia, I was able to go on more of a path of preservation. Some hand touch up with a very fine brush on some of the filigree and decals, and then just give it a beautiful armor finish of clear coat, commercial grade, to give it absolute fortified protection. And that's really what clear coat does. If you didn't know it, clear coat is the armor that's on your car, your sewing machines, and everything else. If you have a machine that has some pretty decent looking decals, but the clear coat is really thin, or it's even missing in some areas, you want to send that machine to the workshop so I can take it to my paint shop. I can rough up that surface and clean it up and condition it, and then preserve those beautiful decals, otherwise that are going to get destroyed. Or if it's all the way down to the paint, that paint eventually is going to get compromised, and then you're going to have to look at repainting the entire machine, which is a big expense. Instead, you can preserve it when you still have an opportunity, and I can take it to the paint shop, very carefully condition that surface, rough it up so that it'll receive that clear coat, and then give it just a gorgeous, gorgeous finish. But it's not just pretty. It's not just, oh, look at how pretty it is. It preserves the machine and it protects it. That's what clear coat does. It's the armor. It's the armor of protection on that sewing machine. So if you've got a machine like that and you're going, it's got beautiful decals still, but I can see by the crackling, I can see by, the inconsistency of way the patina presents, because the clear coat is okay here, but it's faded here. Send it to the workshop so I can go ahead and get that machine preserved while we still have the opportunity to do it at the least amount of cost, and while preserving the machine in its originality. I hope that makes sense, because that's really our goal as vintage sewing machine enthusiasts, is to preserve and protect these machines, isn't it? I think it is. We want to preserve and protect these machines, and we do that by taking care of them through due diligence. So if you've got a machine like that, reach out to me. One of the leaders or one of the regulars, for that matter, can type into the live chat how you can best contact me, either by email if you prefer that, or by phone. And just reach out and say, I've got one of those machines. It needs that clear coat touch so we can preserve and protect it. It's not as expensive as you would think. And I could go ahead and do that for your machine, send it back to you. And then all the people that come into your sewing space and see that machine, they can be like, drooling, literally drooling, like spit coming down their face, going, oh, is that the same machine? Yeah, it is. And any of you that saw this machine in its rough state before I preserved and protected for Ann down in Georgia are probably looking at this machine now and saying, holy cow, I can't believe it. I can't believe it's the same machine. It is. And that's the wonder of I talk about workshop magic all the time. That's the wonder also of paint shop magic also. Paint shop magic. Yeah, I didn't know why. It's Tuesday. It must be like blue day. Why I chose blue. I could have picked pink glasses or something else, but it felt right to wear blue today for some reason. I don't know why. Felt right. All right, so let me do this. Let me give you one more glimpse I'll give you one more glimpse. I'll kind of pick this up and give you one more glimpse of Anne's machine. I got to lower it down now. I didn't realize it was angled that far. Give you one more glimpse of Anne's machine. Again, this looked like something over in the UK would say was ready for the dustbin. And now look at her. Look at her after I very carefully went over that finish and preserved and protected it with 10 layers of clear coat. And I'm holding this like it's light. It's probably close to 40 pounds, but I've been keeping up on my push-ups and my calisthenics. So I'm stronger than I used to be, maybe. But if I hold this too long, it's going to like, All right, let me move Anne's machine and let's get this other treasure over here from the BERNINA sewing machine company. But you know what? While I have a clear workbench, I'm going to use this space after I move Anne's machine, and we're going to open up Candido's package that he sent me. So I've got to move some of my stuff. I'm still not done with this project yet. So I'm going to leave all the stuff that I'm working with over there and just move the machine real quick. And all I can say is that I continue to be humbled. I continue to be humbled at how generous and how kind our family is to each other. They truly are. And, you know, folks are always so thoughtfully reaching out and expressing their appreciation for what I do. You know, what I share, the knowledge I share, the passion that I share, the enthusiasm that I project onto all of our great vintage sewing machines. And that is the spark that gets a lot of people stepping into our space and trying vintage for the first time. And Candido has said that as well. Candido has said several times, your passion, your enthusiasm has lit a fire inside of me. And Candido, as a result of that, has now said, I want to get a Swedish Beauty. I want to get a Swedish Beauty and eventually see a live stream where either this young lady right here that represents Sweden, get real close so you can see her. And if you follow me on Facebook, you've seen her recently actually singing. Who knew she could sing? But I've used this animation program to have a number of our friends in the workshop, our characters that are a part of what I do. I've animated them and they've had a chance to sing different songs for you. So even if you don't like Facebook, if you think it's just, you know, it's kind of like the baby in the bathwater and I'm going to get rid of both of them, consider setting up a discrete account on Facebook where you can follow what I do there. I post a lot of progress pictures of machines. I share other fun things. I share information that will expand your knowledge base of vintage sewing machines as well. And also I just do fun things sometimes with my characters in the workshop as well. But Candido is going to be getting a Swedish Beauty, one of the traditional green machines from me. And it's going to be such an honor to eventually show that machine on the channel. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Let me work on opening this up and we'll see what Candido handmade and sent it to me as a special gift because Candido is a veteran and I'm a veteran as well. And apparently Candido does a lot of this. So this note reads, there's a note inside of here. This note reads, hi, Scott. I made this, and I won't say the word so you don't know what it is yet. I made this blank for you as a thank you for all you do for us. Hope you like it and serves you for years to come. Respectfully, Candido. So I won't show you the note because the note references what it is that Candido made, but we're going to open it right now and I'll open it very, very carefully. I'll just kind of cut the edges of the tape from an angle. I could use the fancy surgical scissors that Emma sent me, but I don't think I need it for this. I hope I don't. Maybe I do. I might. This is some hardcore bubble wrap. I'm going to have to find out where Candido got it. It's like, whoa, Jiminy Crickets. Oh, this is like hand tooled. Wow. This is gorgeous. Wait until you see it. I've got my heater on. It's actually burning my leg. Not as cold today. I'm going to use Emma's scissors now so I can cut down this a little bit. Isn't this spectacular? Oh my gosh. And Candido even put my initials on the front of it. Let me see if I can hold this up to the camera so you can see it. And I've got to be, I'm a little, if some of you don't know this about me, I am a leather addict. I'm a leather addict. When I'm around leather, if I go into a leather store, they probably have security monitoring me because I'm going over to all the leather goods and I'm doing this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Give me some more of that. Oh wow. Yeah. Oh man, that smells good. I wish we had smell-o-vision so you could smell this. So obviously this is a gorgeous hand-tooled style wallet that Candido made for me. And on the front of here, I'm going to kind of go across here a little bit and show you close up the incredible workmanship and care that went into this wallet. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at the detail on that. The detail is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And there's my initials right there. Right there. I am in awe. I am in awe of the gifts and talents that people possess in our family. I'm in awe of the gifts and talents that people possess in our family. And that's why I say we learn from each other. We are inspired by each other. We are in awe of each other and saying, wow, what a privilege. What a privilege and an honor to have someone like Candido. Or remember Susie's hats that she made and generously gave to me to then give away to people that are part of the Cow Country family. Think about those hats and the time and talent that it took Susie from Minnesota to make those hats as well. And she shared it with us, shared that talent with us. So many others have done things as well to share their time and talent with our family. That's what makes this such a special place to be a part of. And that's why I say all the time, I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of all of you and what God has gifted you with talent and with knowledge and other things like that, that you then generously turn around and you share it with all of us. Now look at all these spaces here. I don't have this many credit cards. I don't have this many credit cards, but I'll put my driver's license or I'll put other things in these little slats here that Candido made with this gorgeous hand-tooled wallet. And I don't know if Candido heard my story. You guys remember I shared that story with all of you? I shared that story with all of you about my mom. Does anyone remember the story I shared about my mom? My mom was a very thrifty woman. She was a very thrifty woman. And whenever we went to like an all-you-can-eat place, my mom didn't want to leave anything on the plate. No way. She thought it was a sin. It was literally a sin. Not literally, but she thought it was horrible. She thought it was horrible to take food like from a buffet and all you can eat and then leave it on the plate where it was going to get thrown away. And most of the buffets are pretty rigid about not giving you like a doggy bag. So if you've got extra chicken or something like that on your plate, it gets thrown into the dumpster and it goes to waste. My mom was like, no, not on my watch. That is not going to happen. Well, at one point, my mom and dad, they didn't do a lot of traveling, but they traveled with one of my aunts and uncles down to Mexico. And I told you this story. My mom bought a beautiful hand-tooled purse that was really detailed, like this beautiful work that Candido did here on this wallet. Just absolutely crazy detailed. And my mom was so proud of that purse. She was, like I said, she was a real thrifty woman, a humble woman, and she would spend money on others, but she never spent it on herself. So this almost seemed almost kind of extravagant in her mind. She struggled with it when they were looking at this down at this market down in Mexico, and she was like to my dad, I don't know if I should spend the money on this. And my dad, of course, knowing how she never did anything for herself, said, if you don't get it, I'm going to get it for you. So just go ahead and get it. So my mom buys this beautiful hand-tooled purse. And then a couple months later, whatever, after they've returned from Mexico, they go to a buffet. Well, lo and behold, my mom gets too much chicken. She can't eat all of it. And she tries to wrap it up in napkins and put it inside of her purse, not realizing that the oil, while they were coming back from the restaurant, would seep through the napkins and then soak into the leather, the soft side of the leather on the other side, and then wick its way all the way to the other side and basically just destroy the beauty of the hand-tooled work on that purse. And she was just heartbroken when that happened. But as time progressed, it got to be a story that she told as a badge of honor. She told it as a badge of honor, and she would always make the story a little bit more interesting. You know, she nearly got caught. You know, they were going to drag her out with the police. You know, she did. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but she kind of spiced up the story and made it more fun and more interesting about how she tried to take this chicken with her, and it ended up destroying her hand-tooled purse. But I do not intend to get greasy chicken anywhere near this beautiful hand-tooled wallet that Candido so thoughtfully made for me. So what a generous thing to do. Imagine how much time went into this. And again, the note that is so sticky, the note that is so sticky, highlighting his appreciation for what I do. I just do what I love. I just do what I think is fun. I think that's why my leaders contribute their valuable time and talents to being leaders on my team, like Emma and Susie and Sunny and all the others that are, that pop into these live streams. They do it because they love what they do. They love helping. They love being a part of the family. They love making folks feel welcome. And again, the roots of this note as well points back to Candido being a veteran and knowing that I'm a veteran as well, and wanting to share that appreciation back and forth for having served our country as a veteran. And it doesn't matter if you were in the Army, the Air Force, the Marines, the Navy, the Coast Guard, whatever. They're all key and essential. They're all key and essential to the mission of protecting the United States and sometimes protecting others around the world too, isn't it? That's part of our job sometimes too, isn't it? And there's debate on that, so I won't go down that rabbit trail too far. But amazing. I never ever would have expected something like this. I've been blessed with so many wonderful things that have come to the workshop from people that appreciate what I do, and love the fact that we are lighting a fire together and attracting new people all the time, not just regular folks like us, but people that are prominent, politicians, celebrities, are now getting the bug to look at vintage sewing machines. Rumor has it that Lady Gaga now is starting to look at vintage sewing machines. You already know that Tom Hanks' family is interested in vintage things and showed interest in vintage sewing machines by way of this workshop. So, I mean, it's a fire that we all are lighting together. I can't do it alone because you all have your circles of influence. And as you share about what we do here in live streams, as you share other things about what is it like to be part of the Cow Country family, other people are saying, that's exactly what I've been looking for. And as I said to Susie from Minnesota recently, as we were shooting some text messages back and forth, and I was sharing with her the stats. Every time at the end of the live stream, I get a summary thing from YouTube. And it tells me what was our chat rate, how many views did we have in the course of the live stream, all of that blah, blah, blah data stuff. And when I sent it to Susie from Minnesota the first time, with like almost 200 views within minutes of this live stream going up where people could have access to it, she was like, you've got to be kidding. You got to be kidding. How incredible are you, Scott, that almost 200 people within minutes of that live stream being reachable have already viewed that live stream? Over almost 200. I said, it's not me. It's not me. Hello. It's all of you. It's the leaders and the welcoming, kind spirit and the knowledge that they share with all of you and the knowledge that you share with all of them. And that, to use a business term, that synergy is when energy is going out and coming back with even greater force. I used to say when I was working in the business world, it takes math to a different level. It takes math to a different level where traditionally 1 + 1 = 2. When you have people sharing a common goal and a common passion, there's a new math in town, and it's 1 + 1 = you come up with a number. You come up with a number. It might be 1,000. It might be 10,000 because of all of those circles of influence that all of us have. Rhea over in Holland, where one of Susie's hats went. And Rhea was recently in a live stream, and I didn't even realize until it was after. She ended up doing some sort of a super chat thing because she felt she wanted to give back. She saw that I paid almost $20 to send that hat to her in Holland. And so she did like a super chat thing and gave me back the majority of that shipping, which I never, ever expected that. And certainly I was like, wow, are you kidding me? Susie from Minnesota sent me a text and she said, you probably didn't even see that. I said, I didn't see that. But it just goes to show you our family touches all points of the globe. We have people that follow us in 128. I've always been saying 126. We have 2 more countries now that are following us as well. We have people in Saudi Arabia. We have people in Germany, Australia. We have people in Nigeria. We have people all over the globe. We have people everywhere that are watching what we're doing during these live streams, either during or afterwards. And so it just shows you the power that all of you have and the influence that all of you have to make this even a bigger footprint worldwide. It's not going to be about me. You know, I do my little part, but when they come to these gatherings on these live streams and they meet people like all of you that are in the live stream right now, all of you that step into that live chat. And as soon as you see a new name pop up, I notice it afterwards. I don't always see it during the live stream. Right away, 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 people are reaching out to that new individual and saying, we're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. We're so honored to have you here. And that message gets out in their circles of influence. And they go, you gotta check these people out. They're different. It's not one person, coming across like a savant and saying, I am here to share my knowledge and wisdom with all of you. You are privileged to be in my presence. That's what I say. Now, it's not just about me. Yeah, I share things. Yes, I teach you certain things, but you all together collectively teach me so much more than I could ever teach you, honestly. And there are a lot of people that are doing YouTube channels saying, don't you ever say that. Don't you ever tell them that they can teach you as much as you can teach them. That's not what leaders do. But I'm also a follower and I'm also a student. And as a student, if you ever stop learning, you've lost. You've lost, right? All right, I'm going to get off of my soapbox. Again, the leaders are now in charge of the live chat. If you have any needs, they can tell you and can help you accordingly. And if you want to be on the live stream live, you can either text me, I'll listen for my phone, or you can call me. I won't show your number. And that way you can ask your question or you can make your comment in front of the entire audience while we're live, which would be kind of cool, I think. It's like talk radio, isn't it? It's like talk radio. All right. So let me do this. Let me first of all say to Candido again, wow. Wow. Are you kidding me? I mean, look at, if you just joined us on the live stream, look at again what Candido did by hand. This is all hand tooled and gave it to me as a gift. I mean, look at this. It's crazy. Absolutely amazing. Let me grab this other machine and let me show you this treasure of a Swiss unicorn machine that came by way of Switzerland, by way of Iowa, and now by way of Oconto. Now I'm going to move you back so I don't knock you over. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to make room for this. Move some of my metal trays out of the way. Again, I don't want to lose any parts. I don't want to lose any parts. So this machine has created quite a stir on Facebook. It's created quite a stir on Facebook. And any of you that do Facebook have already seen this post that I did of this machine that, again, came by way of Iowa, or by way of Switzerland, by way of Iowa, and then eventually now by way of Oconto. But the super cool thing, let me just, I just want to pull up the actual post that I did on Facebook so I can kind of show that to you. And if you've never been to Facebook, this is what my Facebook page looks like, just so you can recognize it if you see it. This is the Facebook page. And I know that Susie from Minnesota already shared a link to this page. And again, even, it's like the baby in the bathwater. It's like the baby in the bathwater. If the bathwater is dirty, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Everything has redeemable things to it, even Facebook. And Facebook has become a wonderful way for me to share the details of my work as I'm going through a machine with the audience. And then they later can see that machine presented on YouTube. So Facebook has become the vessel where they can see, oh yeah, I see now what Scott has done to that machine. Now we get a chance to see that machine do its dance on YouTube. So for me, at least, Facebook and YouTube have become integral partners in telling my story, in presenting my story to the world so that people can say, wow, that's what the workshop magic looks like. That's the depth of Scott's work. He doesn't just brush the machine off and make it look shiny. He goes from bobbin to balance wheel and makes that machine like it's brand new again, better than when it left the factory. So that if you ever go to Facebook and you look up Cow Country Vintage, this is kind of what you're going to see as the landing page. And that particular post I did, let me see if I can get to that. And I do other fun things. I'll just show this to you real quick. I do other fun things that have historical significance, like the origination and the founding of the Big Mac sandwich from McDonald's. And this apparently is one of their original ads, if you can imagine. Did anyone really wear their hair like that back in the 1960s? Does anyone remember people wearing their hair like that? Is that called like a beehive? Is that called a beehive hairstyle? I have no idea. But the fact that they use this as an official advertisement when they introduced the Big Mac, I think it says in 1967, just blows me away. But this is some of the fun stuff that people just get a big chuckle out of as we look at the humor behind when you look at contemporary times compared to history, how things have changed so dramatically. Where if we tried to run an ad like this now, yeah, it would get a lot of attention, but it wouldn't have a whole lot of credibility in probably presenting that brand effectively. But apparently, when they did this back in 1967, this was the look. This is how people did their hair. This made sense to them when they presented this commercial for McDonald's back in the day. Yeah. Wow. It looks kind of scary to me, but let's see here. And other fun little things like this as well. Again, just to show you a little bit of fun historical stuff. This used to be the big screen TV. And I jokingly put on the screen using like a text, inject or whatever input. And I put on there coming soon, cow country live stream or something like that. So, but those are the things, if you totally throw the baby out with the bathwater, those are some of the cool things that you're missing by rejecting Facebook as all bad. It doesn't have anything redeemable. So reconsider that. I'm not trying to push you, but I'm saying you're missing a lot of good stuff. So this is the machine as I presented it on Facebook, Model 125 for sale. And it's attracted a lot of interest, a lot of comments from around the world. Again, because of the historical significance of this Model 125 being, according to our friends in Switzerland, the BERNINA sewing machine company, it was the very first portable zigzag sewing machine in the world. It was the very first portable zigzag sewing machine in the world. Not to mention, it's a lot more compact than a lot of the portable machines were at the time. Plus, it's got that cool knee control feature as well, which a lot of people, I don't know about all of you in the audience right now, but a lot of people prefer using a knee controller over using a foot controller. I would just invite all of you right now to share in the live chat. What is your preference? If you have a choice where this BERNINA Model 125 could either be foot controlled or it could be knee controlled, which one would you most be inclined to use? Would you use it as the knee control setup that it has right now? Or would you rewire it or have me rewire it so that you could go back and forth? I've done that for some of y'all know the ones that I'm talking about, the Singer 99K13s. The Singer 99K13s are a 99K, but they were mounted in a base with a plug-in on the front where you could plug a knee controller in, and then you would push it. I just knocked somebody over. You would push it to the side, and you could sew using a knee controller with a 99K, and the subclass is 13. So a lot of people love knee controls. How about all of you in the live chat right now? What is your preference if you had a choice? Or would you want both so you could go back and forth? I'd just be curious to see what you type as far as your perspective on that. But a little bit more again about the history of this, and I share this on the Facebook post right here in this little summary. The Model 125, which is what we're looking at right here, was the first portable zigzag sewing machine made, and it made the BERNINA name famous throughout the world. Talking about the beginnings of BERNINA, which is a worldwide known name now, they started with only about 65 workers. They only had about 65 workers. And those 65 workers in the first year produced about 2,074 machines. Only 2,074 machines with a workforce of 65 people. But these were all handcrafted, hand-assembled machines. They weren't automated. They didn't go down an assembly line. And then by 1948, which would have been about the time frame that this machine would have been made, by 1948, there were 515 workers and they were producing around 22,955 sewing machines a year in Switzerland. And then they just continued to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and come out with wonderful machines that followed this one as well. But again, the super cool thing about this machine that Kevin and Doreen brought with those other 3 machines from Iowa when they came to visit the workshop, Doreen probably remembers better than I do, or possibly Kevin does. I don't know. But it's been probably, almost 2 years ago that you guys were here? It's probably been close to going on 2 years since you brought those 4 machines to the workshop in your car. And I ended up buying those 2 that you did, that you wanted to have me look at and consider. This is one of them right here. But think about it. Each one of these machines was hand assembled. Does anyone know another company that was based on the East Coast? And I talked about the numbers again that I got from my research and getting ready for this live stream. By 1948, Bernina had about 500 plus employees, 515 employees, and they were making around 22,955 machines. Why don't we just round it up and say they were making almost 23,000 machines a year with a workforce of 515 workers. There was another company that had even a smaller workforce, slightly smaller, and they were based on the East Coast, and they hand assembled all of their machines, and they limited their production per year to a maximum of about 25,000 machines. Does anyone know what company that was? What company that was? And I've got an incoming call from San Antonio, Texas. Hold on. Hey, this is Scott. How can I help you?
Good morning, Scott. My name's James. How you doing, sir?
Good. James, are you on the live stream right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay, hold on a second.
I know you were live streaming. I can call you back later.
No, go ahead and ask your question real quick.
Okay. Well, I want to say I love your channel. Stumbled across it by accident. Got me into getting into vintage sewing machines.
Okay.
And I picked up this weekend a Bernina 730 and a Husqvarna Viking CI 21A.
Oh, nice.
Both have been in the family since they were new. And there's 2 things I'm trying to track down, and just wanted to see if by chance you might have them. Was the knee bar for the 730, and then a cable extension for the 21.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do with you. And again, you're down in San Antonio, Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, just so I can wrap up this live stream. And interestingly, it's amazing how all the pieces come together, right? We're literally doing a live stream right now on a incredibly historically significant machine, a Bernina model 125 from 1948. So you'll have to check it out. It's really a cool machine. It was the very first portable zigzag sewing machine in the world. So you'll have to check that afterwards. Awesome. Do me a favor. Send me a text with pictures of the machines at this number, and then I'll reach back out and let you know if I can track down those parts for you. Okay?
I greatly appreciate it, and thank you for your help.
You bet. Have a great day. Take care.
You too. You too. Bye.
So that is a friend of ours. I thought at first that he might be on the live stream, but he was just calling with a general inquiry. I get, as my leadership team knows, and I get calls sometimes 24/7 where people don't realize the time difference of U.S. versus, say, Australia, which is almost 12 hours difference. And so I'll get calls. I'll hear my phone vibrating in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden see that there's an inquiry about a part or a question about the machine or something like that. And it's our opportunity to share our knowledge or to find an answer together, isn't it? So I'll see if I can help this gentleman from San Antonio, Texas, afterwards. But back to this machine, and I'm going to look at the live chat real quick and see if I need to respond to anything. I don't think I do. Otherwise, one of the leaders would text me. Let's see here. New Jersey. Oh, welcome to Mesa Group as well. And I hope your puppy is still doing well. Hope your puppy is doing well over there in Minnesota. Al Cass, welcome to Al Cass as well. Oh, welcome to from Canada. Welcome to Christine from Canada. And I'm not going to scroll up any higher because I know the leaders. Susie and Sunny are joining the live chat. Have already probably been greeted a half a dozen times at least, which is great. So I'm not going to scroll up and see if there's anyone else I have to say hello to. But again, if you want to join the live chat by posting, by asking a question on the live stream or by making a comment on the live stream, by all means, give me a call. Give me a call, 920-454-0393. It's kind of cool because then if they see your name in the live chat all the time and they're like, oh, that's what Message Group sounds like, or that's what so-and-so sounds like, I'm not going to show your number, but I'll let them hear your voice, which will be kind of a neat added dimension of understanding who that individual is. So I'm not, if you want to call. If you want to text. If you don't want to do either one, that's cool too. So again, back to this Model 125. This little box right here that came with the machine when I got it from Kevin and Doreen, it's got an assortment of goodies in here. Some of these bobbins, I haven't actually examined them closely yet, but some of these bobbins, you'll see that the bobbins are very different. This looks kind of like almost like a Foth bobbin. And then we've got these that almost resemble a Class 15 bobbin. So I'll have to do my due diligence as I'm setting this machine up and make sure that we're working with the correct bobbins. And that's the nature of the situation, isn't it? As a machine is acquired by someone, in most cases, it's not an original owner machine. And it's been touched by a lot of previous owners. And as they acquire different things, those extra bobbins sometimes can land into a box like this. And they may not be suitable for this machine. I've told you a number of times when I presented a machine in a live stream that I've got a machine where it had a hodgepodge, a mix match of bobbins, and out of maybe 10 bobbins, only 2 of them were appropriate for the machine. And that can really mess a machine up, can even damage a machine if you're running the wrong bobbin in that machine. And interestingly, as I was reading through the manual for this Model 125 made in Switzerland, the terminology that the Swiss use is very different than we're accustomed to using in our VSM circles. For example, on the top of the machine where we would put a spool of thread, we would call that, without any apology, we would call that a spool pin, right? They don't call it a spool pin. They call it a bobbin pin, which is kind of interesting to me because a bobbin pin to me would be a pin that you would put something like this on instead of putting a spool of thread. But that's just the nature of you change between geographical areas in the world, when you change between different cultures, when you jump from one country to another, we're going to not necessarily be calling things the same thing. And that's where I'll get calls like the one I just handled during this live stream, and someone will be referring to something on the machine, and the term that they're using to describe that part doesn't make sense to me. So I'll say, send me a picture of what you're looking at and circle it so I can see what you're looking at. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, okay. I don't know where they came up with that word for it. I don't know how they came up with that word for it, but it kind of gets us on the same sheet of music. So I'm going to carefully slide this Model 125 out. And I'm going to take this little accessory tray, this little caddy off very carefully. Kind of turn it around this way so you can see the front of it. So this is, I would call it, and I might be using the wrong term. I might be using the wrong term, as I oftentimes do. And one of you can type up the correct term in the live chat. But I would call this kind of a caddy. This is kind of like a caddy that slides next to the free arm, and it gives you the opportunity to store different things. On here, you might put extra spools of thread. Here, you might put extra bobbins. Right here on here. And then these little doors open as well, where you can put extra things in there, like pieces of bubble gum. That's what I would do. I would put extra bubble gum in there, or you can put embroidery hoops, whatever you want in these little doors. But it's just a nice little way to self-contain all of your goodies, whether it's bubble gum or accessories for the machine, in this single little case, or this caddy as it is. And then up here, you can, this little track right here, again, being a little bit infantile, I would probably put some sort of gumdrops along there, or who knows, that's almost the proper length for licorice. I could see 2 or 3 pieces of licorice being able to fit in that space very nicely. Yeah, I could put them right there. And that way they can, if you're working on a project, you can grab them straight away. But you see the pride of workmanship, where the attention to detail on this. And if you're looking at this and saying, okay, if this is from the 1940s, this little accessory case, or this caddy as it is, what material do you think this was made out of? What material was this made out of? Type it in the live chat, and I'll actually look at the comments to see if anyone nails it. Look at this again. I'll kind of turn it around so you can see it from different angles. And it does have a couple little chips on it. It's got a couple little chips. It's not absolutely perfect. I set this to the side so I don't drop it. I'll look at the comments. I'm just curious if anyone got it correct. Several people got it correct. Oh my goodness. Several people. Yeah. Emma, it looks like Emma was the first one to step out. Emma and Kevin and Doreen and Mesa Group. And Gina. Yeah, all of you nailed it. That's Bakelite. Yeah, that's Bakelite. Just like, I don't know or not. Oh, let's see. Where is it? So if you can see that in the shot right now, this caddy, or this accessory doodad that goes with this BERNINA 125, is made out of the same material as these foot controllers that are so commonly known in the circles of Singer. These little button style ones are Bakelite as well, aren't they? So Bakelite was a very popular material among sewing machine manufacturers, not just for foot controllers, but for some of the other components as well that went with the machine. It's generally pretty easy to mold it. It's fairly durable, but again, it's as it ages, it becomes more and more brittle. So, you just got to be real careful with it. You don't want to be dropping foot controllers made out of Bakelite. You don't want to be dropping accessory trays made out of Bakelite either, because they will fracture, they will break, they will crack very easily. So again, looking at this machine, let me just kind of walk you around it a little bit. Let me change the camera angle a little bit down. So as we're looking at this machine, obviously it's a knee controlled machine. Right behind this knee controller, if I kind of lower this down a little bit, kind of out of the way, you can see this little control right there. And that is going to be to drop the feed dogs or to lower the feed partially. So you can do darning type work with the machine. And it's got a little window right here. It's got a little window right here that's going to show you what the setting is, so you know whether or not those feed dogs are completely down or whether they're just partially down, to lessen that bite into the materials that you're working with. We got this control right here. That's going to give us control over stitch length, moving it up or down accordingly. Right here is called our zigzagger selection. Let me see what they actually call it. The zigzag stitch adjusting switch. Otherwise, I'm going to get nasty notes from our friends in Switzerland if I don't call it correctly. So this is our zigzag stitch adjusting stitch. And you know what? I better go backwards a little bit. I call this our stitch length. That's my simple way of saying it. The Swiss call it the stitch length regulating lever. The stitch length regulating lever. Yeah, they do. Oh, I better go back even further now. I'm going back further now. Down here, I called it the feed dog drop, or this is our darning control. The Swiss call it the feed dog lowering switch. The feed dog lowering switch. They like the word switch. Does anyone know why the Swiss love the word switch so much? I wonder why they do. They just do. And for easy servicing, we can open this little hatch. You might not even have seen that hatch opens. And there we can look inside of the machine, and we can see straight away that this machine is built incredibly well. I'm going to try to hold all this together while I'm lifting the machine up. It's almost like looking inside of a featherweight for the first time. When you take the spool pin off, the spool pin cover on a featherweight off, you can look inside of the guts of the machine, and you can see the worm gears, and you can see all that forged steel. And that's where when you can look at a little Bernina like this, a model 125, and your initial impression would be it looks like a lightweight machine. It doesn't look like it would be for heavy duty. That would be a total mistake to make that conclusion. This little machine, even though it's 3/4 size, I'm holding it up right now with 2 hands because it is a heavy, heavy machine. It is not aluminum. It is not magnesium. It is all steel. The Swiss don't mess around when it comes to building something, not only the casing steel, but also the innards of the machine as well. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a portable heavy-duty machine, kind of like the original Kenmores, and I've prepared a number of Kenmores for people on the West Coast that they buzz around the waters, and they find someone that has tears in their sail, on their sail boat, and they'll use one of the portable Kenmores that I sent them, which are only little 3/4 size machines, but they've got a 1 amp motor, and they can sew through canvas without any difficulty at all. So don't judge a machine by its size, kind of like a David and Goliath thing. This looks like a David, but once I get this machine optimized, it's going to sew like Goliath. It's going to sew better than Goliath. So obviously our upper tension, take-up arm, they do not call what would we call this portion if I kind of rotate it around a little bit? What would we call this portion of the machine right here? Type it in the live chat if you would. What do we normally refer to this as? This portion right here. And yes, it does open. You see that right there? It does open up so we can service these different critical points on the machine, and also get in there to change out that light bulb as well if we need to do that. But what would we commonly refer to this as, this portion of the machine right here? And Doris is saying the nose. I've never heard it called a nose before, so that's kind of cool. I like that. Sonny's calling it the nose piece as well. I typically refer to this part of the machine as the faceplate. I commonly call this the faceplate area, but I like the description as well. It kind of makes sense and almost sticks out like a nose, doesn't it? And then we've got our on and off light switch right here for the light. But the Swiss don't call this a nose plate, or what else did y'all call it? Nose piece, I think, is what someone else referred to it as. They call this the head cover. The head cover. Now, it's not uncommon when we look at a sewing machine, if we take it out of a table and we're looking at just the core machine, we'll refer to that as the machine head. The totality of the machine, when it's out of the table or out of the case, we sometimes will refer to it as the machine head. But here, the Swiss are specifically looking at this area right here, and they're calling it I already said it, the head cover. They're calling it the head cover, almost like a hat. So that's again where the terminology, when you move between different manufacturers and you move between different countries, where we might call this a nose piece or a face plate or a face cover, the Swiss refer to it as a head cover. And like I said earlier, as we turn the machine around a little bit, kind of look at the back of the machine, I think most of us would probably refer to this as what? What would you call this right here? Yeah, you are right on. I mean, that's what I would call it too. I would call this a spool pin. The Swiss don't call it a spool pin, they call it a bobbin holder. If you look in the original manual and you look at the schematic breakout of the machine, this is not called a spool pin. It's not called a spool holder. It's called a bobbin holder. So apparently, I don't know, in Switzerland, instead of calling this a spool, they must do it as a bobbin. I can only assume that they would call it a bobbin because I don't think you're going to be putting an actual bobbin on here. You're going to be putting some sort of a spool of thread, but they're going to call it a bobbin holder. Yeah. And I'm not being critical of how they're calling it. Not at all. I'm just saying it's, isn't it? Kind of like if we turn the machine around. On live streams before, I've talked about this portion of the machine right here, this vertical portion of the machine that generally is going to contain, excuse me, it's going to contain critical mechanical parts of the machine, including the pitman arm. Does anyone remember what I commonly refer to this portion of the machine as? This I call the arm. I call this the arm, the free arm, the bed. What do I commonly refer to this portion of the machine as? Does anyone know? This portion right here, this vertical section. Yeah, Emma's the only, but I'm sure a number of you other folks knew it as well. I call it the pillar. This is called the pillar. The Swiss call it the stand. S-T-A-N-D. This to the Swiss is the stand. This section right here. Which, you know what? It's kind of standing, isn't it? So I guess that's not totally crazy. And then this, we are finally in agreement with our friends in Switzerland. We commonly refer to this section of the machine right here, below the free arm and across the bottom of the pillar in that. What would we call this section? We'd call it the bed, wouldn't we? We'd call it the bed of the machine. And the Swiss agree with us. They call it the bed plate. The bed plate. I'm going to see if there's anything else I wanted to show you on this machine straight away. Now, on some of these Model 125s, it's not the case with this one. On some of these Model 25s, by the motor case area right over here, there's going to be an additional switch that allows you to engage and disengage the clutch. This particular one has an auto feature for that, similar to the one on the Husqvarnas. But the earliest versions added a little switch here, and it's going to have a setting of A or B. If you're in regular sewing mode, you'll have it set on A. If you're looking to wind a bobbin, you then flip it over to B. But obviously that's not the case on this particular model. It would have been on a different design of the same model 125. See if there's anything else. Pressure foot control. Part of the bobbin winding assembly right here. This is one of the thread guides. Plug-in for the motor. Is anyone really good at converting motor power to standard amperage? If they are, I'll show you the data plate. And if someone wants to look it up, that would be totally cool. So we're looking at the data plate right here. And this is 110, 125. Someone could type into the live chat, what kind of motor size are we looking at here? 110 volts, and it's going to have 80 watts, it looks like. I think that's 80 watts. My glasses are kind of dirty. 60 watts. Yeah, 60 watts. I'm sorry. When you have dirty glasses, a 6 looks like an 8, and an 8 looks like a 6. So I'm just going to shut up and let you look at it and see if anyone wants to do a conversion real quick. There's conversion things on the internet, if you didn't know it, where you can type in the voltage and the wattage, and it will tell you approximately what the amperage output is for that motor, for this Swiss motor. And then you can see as well, we've got the serial plate right here. A lot of manufacturers will stick the serial plate underneath the edge of the bed. They'll stick it prominently right on the front of the machine, adjacent to the pillar. In this instance, the serial number is actually being put on the back of the pillar. You can kind of see that right there, I think, in the shot. Yeah, kind of make it out. All right, I'm going to set this back down. It does get heavy after a while. But this is really, it's kind of a neat, it's one of those things where when Kevin and Doreen visited the workshop, probably almost 2 years ago, I want to say it is, going on 2 years, I knew right away there was something special about this Model 125. But again, I did not understand. I did not have the depth of understanding as to the significance of this machine in relation to the Bernina Sewing Machine Company. The fact that this represented really the wellspring of their success, this particular little 3/4 size machine that would have come out right around 1948. And it really gave them an opportunity to step out there with all the big boys that were thought to be the big boys at the time and make their mark and eventually become a household name as far as the significance of what this machine represented at the time. I think I may have just gotten a text message. Hold on. Good morning. This is James from... Oh, this is the gentleman that we just had on the phone. He's just sending me a follow-up message with some pictures and kind of what he's looking for his Viking Type 21 and his Bernina Model 730. I don't know that I've ever worked on a Bernina 730 either. Has anyone ever owned a Bernina 730 like this gentleman from San Antonio, Texas? Or does anyone have any knowledge that they want to share about the Bernina 730, which, from what he said on the phone, if I understood him correctly, is also set up with a knee controller, but he's missing the knee controller right now, and he's wondering if I can track one down for him. The beauty of this Model 125 is that knee controller is actually mounted directly to the machine. And you don't lose it easily. You might damage it, but you won't lose it because it's actually attached to the machine. Hold on one second. He's sending some pictures. If they pop through and I can conceal his number, I'll show them to you. But I want to honor his privacy. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm going to kind of put my thumb over, show you what he's showing us. So, whoops, that was bad. Did not mean to do that. Apparently, if you touch the number, it shows up. So there he's showing 21. And then he's showing me the other machine right there. I haven't seen the other pictures yet, but if I see any other pictures, I'll pop them up for you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of take a look at the live chat, see if there's any questions that I can try to answer. But I've accomplished what I set out to do during this unconventional live stream, as I referred to it when I was talking with Emma. I said it's not going to be a typical type live stream. It's going to be kind of a free-flowing where I'm talking about the machines that I'm going to be working on next. And the machine that I'm working on that you already saw, that national sewing machine, that, what is it? The New England Queen Rotary that I'm going to be finishing up and then eventually live streaming before it's sent back to Georgia. But if there's any other questions or comments that you want to make, please get them into the live chat. And then we're going to move towards trying to wrap this live stream up. When I get done with this New England Queen Rotary, the owner originally had thought about sticking a motor like this on that beautiful machine. I'm really going to, I'll take care of rewiring this motor. I'll take care of optimizing this motor, but it would almost seem sacrilegious to put a motor like this on such a beautiful rotary machine. It really should be set up as it was intended to be set up, with a treadle belt, or it should be set up with a hand crank potentially, if the side of the pillar can be adapted so I could screw in a hand crank. I would love to see that New England Queen Rotary being operated in a non-mechanical motorized way. I'd love to be either as a hand crank, or potentially it was originally set up to be a treadle machine. That's how it's set up as far as its balance wheel section. But this came with the machine, so I'll send it back with the machine. I'll rewire it. You can see it's kind of a mess right now, kind of a scary mess. But it would just, I think, do you agree or disagree? Putting something like this on that other machine. Let me show you that other machine again real quick. I'll put away this this BERNINA, and I'll show you that other machine again real quick, and see what your reaction is. I'm trying to handle this Bakelite real carefully here. Real carefully. But this will be a fun machine to present to you eventually. And there's a local lady. Her name is Teresa. I've gotten to know her a little bit, and gotten to know her husband quite well. He's a retired truck driver. And Teresa, very, very hardworking lady, and is an incredibly gifted sewer. And when she caught, it's kind of interesting the way timing works sometimes. Through her husband, Ace, he's called Ace locally, ACE. It's kind of his nickname. Through her husband, knowing that I'm the sewing guy, she had him ask me, if you come across a neat BERNINA, would you let me know about it? Because my wife is looking for one. And right away, I went back to those 4 machines that Kevin and Doreen brought from Iowa, 2 that need to be serviced, 2 that I purchased from them. And this was one of the ones that I purchased. And right away in my head, I thought, you know how you deal with so many machines? And right away in my mind, without opening the case right away, I'm thinking, wait a second, was that a BERNINA or was that a Janome? I don't remember if that was a classic Janome or a BERNINA. And I opened up the case and it was a BERNINA, exactly what Teresa was looking for. So as I said in the post on Facebook, for sale. Now I'm adding an addendum to that says for sale, sold. As soon as Teresa saw pictures of this, and knowing my reputation for the way I prepare a machine and service it and preserve it and restore it, etc., she's like, I want it. Now these are local folks. They know where I live. So I'm like, okay, I haven't presented it officially. No one's contacted me. So you get first right of refusal. She says, I'll take it. So this machine that we're looking at right now that soon I will present in a live stream belongs to Teresa, a local gal in Oconto, the wife of Ace. And so, at any rate, sorry if any of you were thinking, I'm going to contact Scott right after the live stream. I do Facebook. I saw it's for sale. I want it. Sorry. Sorry. It's already sold. And that's the case. I don't present machines for sale very often, do I? I don't do it. People will contact me. They'll be looking for a certain type of machine. They're looking to do a certain type of sewing. They're looking to do certain types of projects. And I will look at my private collection of original owner machines, and I will, like a glove, I will fit them to the appropriate machine that is going to give them delight and success in meeting their specific project needs. That's my approach. I don't have like a store where I show all these machines that could be restored and be offered for sale. I kind of do it on a case by case basis. From a sales standpoint, that's probably not the smartest way to do it. You know, I kind of wait for someone to contact me instead of presenting the machine and then getting people to respond and seeing if it's going to meet their needs and then offering it to them for sale. But based on how much my time is already being consumed by working on active projects, it's really the best I can do right now. If I eventually get someone that were to step alongside and work with me, and they could identify machines in my personal collection that are desirable, that I can begin presenting as being available for restoration and for sale, then I would probably be able to take that approach to it. But right now it's a case by case. Oh, my phone rings. Oh, I get an email. Oh, I get a text message. And now we're working through the process of finding out, okay, what do you want to be doing? What kind of sewing are you doing? What do your projects look like? How much workspace do you need? How much power down at the needle do you want? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I plug them into the appropriate machine that will meet their project needs. But in the future, I might change that approach if someone ends up starting to work with me, steps alongside, and then all of a sudden I can offer a different way of showing what machines I have available. Some of you would absolutely go crazy if you were to walk through the workshop of machines that I own and the overflow area. Some of you have been in there. Doreen and Kevin were in the overflow area where I have a lot of my machines on shelves, 5 or 6 deep, 20 feet wide, 12 feet high, all machines, row after row after row after row after row of machines that are waiting for the opportunity for greatness, waiting for the opportunity to go underneath the bright lights after I've restored them and to then race off to support someone with specific project needs. I wish I had more hours in the day. I wish I had more energy. I wish I had, the ability to go just machine after machine after machine, boom, 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 boom. But right now I'm handling it differently. So this just happened to come together where Teresa told Ace, hey, ask Scott when you see him at the restaurant, ask Scott if he has or knows of where he could get a really cool Bernina machine. It's the only type of machine I don't have. I've got Fofs, I've got Genomes, I've got Japanese clones, I've got Singers. I don't have a Bernina. And lo and behold, the machine that Kevin and Doreen brought from Iowa and that I purchased from them all of a sudden was exactly what Teresa was looking for. Now, this might also be the machine you're looking for, and I apologize. I apologize. I better get it out of view before some of you start sending me nasty text messages. All right, get this out of the way, and I'll bring that other machine back. So this New England, and again, if you join the live stream a little bit late, I don't even have this. After I clear coated it, I haven't even put wax on this yet. I haven't even waxed this machine yet after the clear coat. But she is just, let me bring this up a little bit. She is standing tall, looking good, ought to be in Hollywood. And I'm still in the process of hand polishing and hand cleaning this machine and reassembling it right now. But this machine originally was set up to be, this part goes on right here. Yep. This part goes on right here. And this was designed to be a treadle machine. This was not set up to be a motorized machine. It doesn't even have an appropriate mounting point